Okay, so here we are going to look at Excel project number 2. Let's say that I give you some data here. How about 19, 17, 18, 25, 24, 18, 17, 23, 20, 21, 22, 25, 17, 26, 20. Right, so let's say that I give you this data here. We are going to do a few things. What we're going to be doing is we are going to, um, let's go with A. Let's find all measures of central tendency, right? Recall that all the measures of central tendency are the mean, the median, the mode, the mid-range, right? So we are going to be finding all of these measures of central tendency. So I would first start off by organizing your data from smallest to largest. We did this on Excel Project 1. Remember, you click on the cell A, which highlights all your data. Then from there, on this right-hand side, you are going to sort and filter, and you sort and filter from ascending order. Okay, so this is how you organize your data from smallest to largest. We are going to be using formulas to find each central tendency. Our mean is found by hitting the equals button. Then we type M-E-A. We type average, A-V. And we should already see average is the second one. We double click it. From there, you should be highlighting all your numbers. You hit enter and you get a mean. The median is what we do next. We hit equals, M-E-D, right? And all of a sudden you see median pops up. You double click median, highlight all your numbers, hit enter. Our next one is mode. So the same thing, we hit equals, M-O. And you see a couple of them, D. We'll type in that first one, M-O-D. No, I'm sorry, not that one. We'll type in this second one, mod.mult. Double click that, highlight our numbers, hit enter. There we go. Our mid-range, that will actually, there's not a nice formula for. We'll have to create our own. So hit equals, open parentheses. You first click on the lowest data value, right? So I clicked on that lowest data value. You hit the plus sign on your keyboard. See, that's not correct. So I have to hit shift and then that. So the lowest plus the highest. So lowest plus the highest. Close parentheses. Then I hit my division symbol and then I hit 2. I created my own little formula there. From there I can hit enter and this is my mid-range. So I found my median, my mean, my mode, and my mid-range. Let's turn this into a table. All right, we learned how to do this in the last Excel project. You highlight that. You look for this icon here. It talks about borders. You click the down arrow, and you want all borders. There you go. So this is how we find our measures of central tendency. The next thing that you should be able to do from there is you should be able to find all measures of dispersion. And if you recall measures of dispersion, we had 2 of them. We had range and we had standard deviation. So let's do the same thing. First of all, I see that this standard deviation is taking up this other cell. So up here on this between D and E, once again, I'm looking for that little black icon with those arrows on the left and right. Double click it and it stretches it out a little bit. Okay. Range, we're going to have to create our own formula. In order to find a range, we hit equals. We click on the largest data value. This time we subtract the smallest data value. We do that and we hit enter. That gives us our range. Standard deviation, we hit equals. We start typing in ST, and all of a sudden we see a couple of different ones. This is a standard deviation of a sample. So we want to click that one with the .s. Double click it, right? And then from there you highlight your data values, you hit enter, and we get this standard deviation. I am going to make a table here, but I also want you to be able to round. So what if we round this? How about we go with the hundredths, right? And I'm also going to turn that into a little box itself, right? So I want to round my standard deviation to the hundredths. Rounding that to the hundredths, we see that the number after the 8 is a 9, and because it's a 9, our 8 goes up, so this will be 3.19. Very good. So we have measures of central tendency, measures of dispersion. Really want to talk about the standard deviation because what we did in the past is we did this long table in order to get this answer. We see that Excel makes it a lot easier. I mean, I'd really encourage you to know how to use Excel because when it comes to your final exam, I'll let you use Excel as well in order to find standard deviation. But now we want to, as our last thing, we want to prove the standard deviation is correct by making a table. Right? So we want to prove that this answer is correct. Right? Right? You might be thinking, well, of course it's correct. We use this Excel program, but we know how to do it the long way, right? By the table. We're going to use Excel in order to prove that that is correct. And if you recall from our table, we had a couple of different things. We had our data values first. After our data values, we did each data value and we subtracted it from the mean, right? And then after that, what we did is we did our data value minus the mean, and we took that to the power of 2, right? We took it to the power of 2. So I'm going to hit Shift and 6, hold it. I get that, and then I do the power of 2. All right. So this is what we use in order to find our standard deviation. This is how we started it. So let's start off by listing our data values. And we just have to list them once, even though 17 was repeated. Or no, I guess we'll repeat them all. Right, we can always do that. A nice way of doing it is by highlighting all of these. And you can copy it. Right, you go to copy. And then we can go right over here. And then from there, you should be able to paste it. Let's see what happens if we hit inch. No, home. Oh, there it is, paste, right next to the copy. You hit paste, and all those numbers are copied there. Okay. Okay, so what do? We hit equals. We hit your. So we got to be very careful. You see, it's very sensitive. We hit equals. We hit the 17. We do minus. We click on his mean. We hit enter. We do it again, equals. click on 17, minus, do the mean, we hit enter. And we keep repeating that process. Equals the next number, 17, minus, click on the mean again, enter. Right? Equals 18 minus, click on the mean, enter, equals 18 minus the mean, enter. We keep repeating it, equals. Now the next one, which is 19 minus the mean, enter, right? Equals 20 minus. And we just keep repeating this process. Click on the cell to the left, you hit the subtraction sign, click on the mean. Equals, click on the cell to the left, the minus, click on the mean, enter. Oop, that didn't work, so I'm going to hit my undo button, which is on the top left, below file, hit undo. See what happened? Let's do it again. Equals, click on 21, subtract the mean, enter. Equals, click on 22, minus, subtract the mean, enter, equals. So once again, we did this manually. Now what we're doing is we're letting Excel do it for us, which is pretty nice. Remember, we called this the deviation. We call this the deviation. And if there's one thing that we learned that if we were to add up all these numbers, it should equal 0. So we want to check this, right? So we would hit equals sum, open parentheses. We are going to highlight all these numbers, hit enter. Oh, doesn't equal 0. So let's go back. Let's hit undo. Let's try this out one more time. Equals sum, open parentheses, highlight all this number, close parentheses. Doesn't equal 0, but it's really close to it. I wonder what happened. What if we took a look at our mean? Maybe our mean is rounded. So what I'm going to do is I am going to specifically look at this individual cell and see what's happening. I hit what we can do here is what if we right click it. Let's see if we can find out what's going on. Look at this number format, and it looks like on numbers it rounded it to 2 decimals, so I am going to put it to 10 decimal places. No, still the same. So that's it. Let's cancel. Let's keep going. I mean, this number is really, really close to 0. So let's see. Okay, now from here I hit equals. I'm going to take this number and I'm taking it to the power of 2. So you press shift, you do not let go. You press 6 and you do not let, and well, you press them at the same time. Shift 6 at the same time and you should see that little icon. So again, shift 6, same time you see that icon. You hit 2, you hit enter. All right, and you keep that process going. Equals shift 6 or equals, click on the number to the left, shift 6 to the power of 2, enter. Equals, click on that left number, shift to the power of 6, 2, enter. Equals, click on that left number, shift 6 to the power of 2, enter. Equals, click on that left number, shift 6 to the power of 2, enter. Equals, click on the left number, shift 6 to the power of 2, enter. And we just keep that process going. Shift equals shift 6 power of 2. Got one more. Okay, very good. Let's make this a table, right? Remember how we can make this a table. And we don't have to include that last one. That was just kind of to check our work. Right, so we're turn that into a table. There we go. We don't see the table ending here, so once again, let's just extend that L a little bit by double clicking there. All right, so moving on. What we want to do now is we want to sum this last column, right? So we hit equals sum open parentheses, and we are clicking on those data items, on those values, right? So that's what we get. Remember what we did next is we had to find our n and subtract that from 1. And remember, our n is the amount of data values that we have. So how many do we have here? Looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 of them. Right? So what's 15 minus 1? That gives us 14. Now from here, we should be able to find this standard deviation. Right? Let's make that a cell. Remember, our whole goal is for it to equal this 3.18, right? We want it to be the same number. And if you recall, what we do is we do the square root of this 142.4 divided by 14. So we're going to hit equals SQ. We hit SQ and we hit C square root. So we double click that and we click on this 142.4. We hit the division sign. We hit 14. We hit enter. And what you can see is that this cell and that cell are almost identical, right? Almost identical. We see this 3.18926, 3.18926, and this is an 8, and then that's a 7. So this is a little exact. This was rounded, as we can see that our table had more decimals. So this is how you do Excel Project 2. What we're doing is finding measures of central tendency and measures of dispersion using Excel. I want you to notice that we can really find these measures of central tendency and dispersion very easily with Excel. What you did in your homework and on your exam is you did everything the long way. Now we're just practicing it again, but now you can do it a lot quicker. And as I mentioned earlier, when you take your final, you are more than welcome to use Excel to find standard deviation, mean, median, mode, mid-range. You don't have to do the long math anymore. So I strongly encourage you to know how to do that. And once again, once you're done with this Excel Project 2, go ahead and send it to me. And if you have any questions, just email me or schedule a meeting with me. Thank you.